This episode brought to you by Subsoap. This month only, purchase the Infinity Bundle. Pay once, get new games forever. Visit infinitybundle.com.
Christians under attack in Somalia. A Somali-based terrorist group, Al-Shabaab, is targeting Muslim converts with the declared intention of ridding Somalia of all Christians. So far, it has taken responsibility for numerous murders, beheadings, and abductions of Christians. In 2008, Al-Shabaab released a video showing the beheading of a Somali man convicted of the crime of conversion to Christianity. In an undisclosed location in the Horn of Africa, Voice of the Martyrs runs a safe house for Somali victims of persecution. Many show the scars of torture and shared stories of dangerous escape that, according to the refugees, many did not survive. Al-Shabaab seeks to establish Sharia law in Somalia. Under Islamic rule, a convert to any other religion is an apostate and therefore punishable by death. Should religions use a metaphorical or literal approach? Some people have looked into this topic, which is of particular interest to religious scholars and theologians. This question may seem trivial to atheists, but it does provide some insight into the balancing act a lot of religious people face regularly. Representatives of various religions were asked by the Canadian newspaper, The Ottawa Citizen, to explore this topic. Based on their answers, it seems that newer religions tend towards literal interpretations. Baha'i and Mormonism explicitly preach literal interpretation based on prophecy and new scripture. Jehovah's Witnesses preach mostly literal interpretations based on a restorationist view of existing scripture. However, older religions tend to allow more metaphorical interpretations. This can be attributed to splintering as well as the accumulation of conflicting texts and traditions. To make sense of such conflicts, adherents interpret them as metaphor. This is true for most Hindu and Jewish sects. Middle-aged religions like Christianity and Islam are slowly moving towards metaphoric interpretations. When they were new, holy wars, inquisitions, and witch hunts were used to keep them pure. As society is progressing, they are adapting to new realities. The abolition of slavery, the social ascent of women, and the acceptance of heliocentricity are all examples of this slow transition. Apologist bias leads to an incomplete conclusion. In a recent op-ed piece, Christian apologist Christian Piatt attempted to figure out why young adults are leaving organized religion in record numbers. However, he seems to have completely missed the most obvious answer: the rise of atheism. The co-founder of Milagro Christian Church in Pueblo, Colorado, pointed out that Christianity's teachings have depreciated over time. He also added that they have lost much of their original purpose. He also noticed that online interactions have increased in importance since the beginning of the internet. This new mode of communication has provided young computer-savvy adults with more information than ever before. Coupled with a generally skeptical view of formal institutions, Piatt says that this has driven many young adults away from brick-and-mortar religious establishments. That's bad news for the traditional way most religions operate. But Piatt seems to think that all is not lost for his tribe. Without considering the other possibilities or providing any data to back up his assertions, he claims that young people are turning to a life of Jesus without the need for a church, instead of completely leaving religion behind. More to the point, he might have been well advised to remember that 55% of American atheists are now under the age of 35, and that a full third of all believers are not yet 25. This data clearly points to an increase in the secularization of American youth, and that atheism in general is on the rise in the United States. Murder and cannibalism is part of a Brazilian cult's creed. Police in the Brazilian city of Rio de Janeiro have arrested 2 women and a man on charges of ritual murder and cannibalism. 51-year-old Jorge and Elizabeth Pires de Silveira, along with 25-year-old Bruno de Silva, planned to kill 3 women per year. They are accused of murdering and then consuming the flesh of 20-year-old Alexandra Felcio and 30-year-old Giselle de Silva. Remains of the two missing women were discovered in the defendant's garden. A 50-page manifesto written by Jorge Pires de Silveira was also found with drawings and procedures depicting ritual cannibalism. According to police, the group ate the flesh of its victims to purify their souls. Attracting victims to the house by offering babysitting work, the cult members chose them when a spirit warned that the women were bad people. Believed to be a daughter of one of the victims, a 5-year-old girl found in the company of the 3 accused was placed under court protection. As police continue to investigate the possibility that there may be other victims, neighbors in the shaken area set the house ablaze.